The Anunnaki and Humanities' Forgotten Origins. I've always wondered about the origins of things, what came before us, what shaped our world. Some stories seem too distant, yet when you look closer, they echo through the ages. One story that has always intrigued me is the one that I tell to my kids as an alternative history to what is tough in a school and my reasons I don't believe in evolution, quite in that way of a Darwin, is a tale of the Anunnaki, an ancient, powerful race believed to have come from Nibiru, a planet orbiting our sun. Their home, Nibiru, faced a crisis, a growing crack in the ozone layer threatening to destroy their world. The damage from this widening crack caused extreme climate shifts. Crops failed, animals perished, and the Anunnaki were desperate. To combat this, they discovered something surprising: gold dust. When scattered into Nibiru's atmosphere, it slowed down the expansion of the ozone crack. But there was a problem. Nibiru lacked the gold needed for such a solution. Gold had become so precious that it was nearly impossible to gather enough. The resulting food shortage sparked rebellion among the Anunnaki's people. Groups of rebels, led by a man named Alalu, rose against the central government. The rebellion was fierce, and Alalu, despite his noble bloodline, was determined to take the throne by any means necessary. After killing the king, Alalu declared himself ruler. But Nibiru's lineage was not to be overturned so easily. Prince Anu, the rightful heir, challenged Alalu in a duel. The fight was brutal, but in the end, Anu emerged victorious and became the new king of Nibiru. Alalu, defeated, fled into exile, but King Anu saw exile as punishment enough and turned his focus to saving Nibiru. His solution? Find gold on other planets. Anu sent out expeditions to nearby celestial bodies, but the results were dismal. Gold was scarce. Then, just as hope seemed lost, a breakthrough came. The third planet from the Sun, Earth, was a paradise, teeming with water, land, and life. It was rich in ores, including gold, exactly what the Anunnaki needed. To everyone's surprise, the one who found it was none other than the exiled Alalu. For his discovery, Alalu was pardoned, and the Anunnaki dubbed the new planet Kai, later known as Earth. They built a city called Eridu in what is now known as Mesopotamia and began extracting gold. This gold would be shipped back to Nibiru, saving their dying world. But mining was grueling work, and the Anunnaki turned to a defeated alien race, the EG, to work the mines. After hundreds of years, Nibiru was restored, but the EG could not endure the harsh labor, leading to another rebellion. War broke out between the Anunnaki and the EG, resulting in the destruction of much of Eridu. But the Anunnaki, despite their superior strength, realized that continuing to enslave the EG would only lead to more uprisings. They needed another solution, and so they turned to a new creation: humans. Using advanced technology, they experimented with the DNA of a female primate and combined it with their own essence, creating creatures that were closer to the Anunnaki in intellect but smaller in stature. The results were less than desirable: grotesque beings like cyclopes and giants that were far from what the Anunnaki had hoped. Undeterred, the Anunnaki tried again, this time using the DNA of a male primate and a female Anunnaki to create the first true human, Adamu. He was smaller than the Anunnaki, with reddish-tinted skin, but he was more like them than anything else. Adamu was the first human being, and soon the Anunnaki created Hair, a female counterpart, to enable human reproduction. Over the centuries, humans grew in number and were put to work mining gold, building cities, and farming. In exchange, they were allowed to visit Eden, a sacred garden created by the Anunnaki. As time passed, the human race began to grow more complex, with the descendants of Adamu becoming more intelligent. Adapa, the son of a noble Anunnaki and a human woman, was born with extraordinary wisdom and lived longer than most humans. But he, like all humans, inherited the Anunnaki's lust for gold and power, and with it came violence. Adapa's children, Cain and Abel, were close servants to the Anunnaki and competed for their favor. But in a moment of jealousy, Cain killed Abel, the first act of murder among humans, shocking the Anunnaki. For his crime, Cain was marked and exiled from Eridu, doomed to wander in search of peace for his soul. Despite the Anunnaki's efforts to maintain control, the human population grew uncontrollably. Eridu became overcrowded, and resources were stretched thin. The Garden of Eden could no longer sustain the humans, and as Nibiru recovered, the Anunnaki no longer needed to extract gold from Earth in such massive quantities. Eventually, the Anunnaki expelled humans from Eden, condemning them to live in the wilderness. More interesting, and what has actually shaped our humanity, is what happens after people get expelled from Eridu, or so-called Garden of Eden. After the Anunnaki cast humans out of the city of Eridu, their journey on Earth took an unexpected turn. As they wandered, something mysterious occurred. Secret unions between some of the Anunnaki and the Iji led to the birth of extraordinary beings, children born from the union of gods and humans. These demigods, celebrated in myth and legends, would forever be etched into the history of various cultures. Despite the challenges, humans began to thrive and establish their own cities. Without the Anunnaki to guide them, their societies descended into decadence, filled with crime, violence, and chaos. Yet, as the Anunnaki had long known, this was only the beginning. Nibiru's orbit began to draw nearer to Earth, an event that happened once every 3,600 years. The Anunnaki decided to abandon Earth, fleeing to space while they waited for the disaster to subside. But one Anunnaki, King Enki, refused to abandon humanity. Despite the counsel of his family, he believed humans deserved a chance to survive. He tasked Utnapishtim, a righteous man, with building a great ship, the preserver of life, to survive the flood that would soon devastate the planet. When the flood came, as predicted, Earth was torn apart. Cities were swallowed by the rising waters, including the once glorious city of Eridu and the Garden of Eden. The monstrous Nephilim were also washed away. Yet Utnapishtim's ship endured, floating on the waters until Earth slowly began to heal. With the help of Anunnaki technology, life slowly returned, and cities like Babylon, Husa, and Nus began to rise from the ashes. Humans, now grateful, once again revered the Anunnaki as gods and built temples to honor them. However, tensions between the Anunnaki soon resurfaced. Enki's brother, Enlil, harbored a deep disdain for humanity. He believed humans were mere tools, inferior to the gods, and could never be entrusted with the knowledge and power the Anunnaki had shared. This rift led to an ongoing rivalry between the two brothers, a conflict fueled further by their sons. Enlil's son, Marduk, sought to gain control of Earth, taking the title of King of Kings for himself. In a bid to consolidate power, Marduk orchestrated the death of his brother, Dumuzi, causing a civil war among the Anunnaki. King Anu of Nibiru intervened to end the conflict. He granted each of the Anunnaki leaders a territory on Earth to rule. Enlil was given Mesopotamia, Enki received Egypt, Inanna ruled Persia, and Nanna governed the Sinai. But Marduk, feeling slighted, demanded Babylon, which he turned into a powerful city. Marduk's desire for power led him to teach humans how to make iron weapons, sparking an arms race that led to war. The war that followed between Marduk and the other Anunnaki shook the very foundations of Earth. Cities crumbled, civilizations fell, and natural disasters ravaged the planet. Fearing that their endless conflicts would destroy Earth, Anu ordered the Anunnaki to return to Nibiru, leaving Earth to be ruled by humans. The Anunnaki's departure was not the end. They promised that one day they would return to Earth, choosing those worthy of ascending to Nibiru to live forever as immortals. But for now, humanity was left to rebuild, on its own, driven by the knowledge and technologies passed down by the ancient gods. After the first chapter of my journey in Vedatrac I, where I spent 108 ascetic days traversing the vast expanses of Eurasia, crossing the towering Himalayan mountain range on a bicycle, I embarked on the second chapter in Vedatrac II, praying at the tops of 108 sacred ancient places across the world. Now, Vedatrac III takes me deeper into the forgotten paths of history, the gods' lost roads. In this chapter, I follow the footprints of ancient deities, visiting 108 sites that once echoed with the divine presence of gods and legends. With every step, I seek to uncover the mysteries of their origins, the stories long buried under the sands of time.